right, welcome everybody to the CHEK blog, our CHEK video blog. I'm really excited today. We've got a great topic and we've got just I think the best person to talk to us about it. I'm here today with Jennie Delbridge. And some of you may know Jennie. She is a CHEK faculty member. She's also an HLC3, a CHEK level 2, an FDN, a CMA. All these titles after your name, Jennie. A massage therapist and a personal trainer, and she's wonderful at all of those things. As I said, she's a CHEK faculty member, but she's also the owner and founder of Peak of Wellbeing in Switzerland. So though coming to us from France, so it's all exotic. So welcome, Jennie. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, James. A real pleasure to be here today. And I don't think I've ever been described as exotic, so I'm going to take that nice compliment today.
Yes, you should.
I will.
Great. So we're going to talk about a really important topic today. I'm so glad that you're going to discuss this with us. We're going to be talking about blood sugar. And I think a lot of people think this is only something you really need to be concerned about with if you're a diabetic. And then everybody else, well, maybe if I'm a little low energy or whatever. But it's super important, and I'm excited for you to talk to us about it. You're going to talk about some easy, practical steps to balancing sugar in 4 weeks, and this is going to have lots and lots of benefits.
Absolutely. Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Super passionate about the subject of blood sugar. And I know it sounds a really small, insignificant thing, but after working with clients now for almost, a decade, I've really realized that it's at the root of almost every single health condition.
Mm-hmm.
In my practice, I work with a lot of women, and I do also work with a lot of emotional issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that until blood sugar is balanced, it is really hard to help people to feel happier, which is something, that I noticed in my own life when I was healing myself as well. So yeah, today I just really want to share some really simple steps for all of the members of the public out there that are starting out on their health journey. Mm-hmm. Some things that they can literally implement right away after this call.
That's great. Well, let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we get into this, there's things everyone needs to know. We really need to understand what is a protein, what is a fat, and what is a carbohydrate. Mm-hmm. Paul CHEK has a really brilliant explanation of this, which I use every day in my clinic. A protein is essentially something that has a pair of eyes. Mm-hmm. So cow, fish, or something that comes from a pair of eyes. Mm-hmm. So we also have eggs, we have cheese, we have our dairy products. Mm-hmm. Okay, a fat is a fat. Most people know what fats are. So we're talking about butter, olive oil, avocados, nuts, all of these kinds of great fats. Mm-hmm. Now, it might surprise everyone on the call out there that everything else, our favorite wine, chocolate, all of these kinds of things are all carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I found this really shocking when I first became a practitioner, because I thought, no, carbs are bread and pasta and all these kinds of things, but they're not fruit, they're not veggies, they're not salads.
Yeah.
But yes, guys, all of these things are carbohydrates. Now, obviously, we have what are called refined and non-refined carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. And for simplicity today, I just really want to explain that a refined carbohydrate, all that means is that it's gone through a man-made process. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when we're choosing carbohydrates, after we've been working on our diet for a little while, it's great to choose non-refined carbohydrates where we can. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the simplest little rule for everybody out there today, you can implement this straight away, is always balance all of your meals and even your snacks with a protein, a fat, and a carbohydrate wherever possible. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. Now, what that's going to do, even if you're transitioning your diet and the diet still isn't where it needs to be, even if you're eating some sugary foods, mm-hmm. that's going to create our Big Dipper roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With energy levels.
Exactly that. Yeah. If we add a protein or a fat, and I'll give you some examples in a second, that's going to level out our blood sugar, become much more, and we're going to feel much happier. Mm-hmm. My partner Duncan has a great little saying, and he says, "Eat first, argue later."
I love that. That sounds like Duncan.
It is, Duncan.
Yeah.
You know, any couples who've been together for a period of time will be able to pinpoint back to those big arguments you've had in your life, and I'll guarantee 9 times out of 10,
Yes.
one or both of you were hungry.
Yes.
Yeah, you know the
Yes.
feeling when you eat a meal and suddenly, oh, nothing seems so bad.
That's right. Yes. You can feel the weight just,
Which
yes.
really highlights how important blood sugar is.
Yeah.
Now, blood sugar is linked to so many issues out there. You know, it is linked, of course, to diabetes. We all know that, but it's also linked to our mood swings. It's linked to inability to lose weight, particularly to change our shape, particularly for females. It's linked to, you know, everything out there, because it's creating such a huge stress on the body when we have those highs and lows.
Right, right. I mean, I imagine it's crucial in the workplace, right? Because it's mental clarity too, right? When you
Yeah.
have these swings, it's affecting your mental clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've all had those times when we've struggled to concentrate. We've had that sort of foggy mind, that foggy thinking.
Yeah,
That's directly linked to blood sugar.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so what most people experience when they balance the blood sugar, as you explained so beautifully there, James,
Mhm,
is clarity of thought,
mhm,
more productivity,
mhm.
a more even energy. So rather than when we throw an espresso down our neck and can work like maniacs for 2 hours and then feel exhausted,
Yes, yeah,
what we're actually looking for is a really nice maintained energy levels throughout the whole day. So that's what
yeah,
you'll get when your blood sugar balances.
yeah, yeah.
There's the added benefit of that your sugar cravings will disappear.
Mm,
So you'll be less likely to reach for, you know, our high sugary snacks and drinks. So that's going to have a really great effect on your health and obviously your weight.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay. So some really simple examples. Let's say, for example, at the moment you're having oatmeal or what
mm-hmm,
we call porridge in the UK and Europe for breakfast.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Porridge,
That's
I'll say.
me. I do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mm,
James, even just adding some fats, for example, some organic butter or some organic coconut oil, let's say a tablespoon,
mm-hmm,
that's going to really balance out those carbohydrates, which are, you know, our refined porridge oats,
mm-hmm.
and help create less of a blood sugar dip, let's say around about 9, 10 o'clock,
Yeah, yeah,
when we're all reaching for a sugary snack or a piece of fruit or a coffee, etc.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Other great examples are if you're eating fruit, you know, add some raw nuts, for example.
Mm-hmm,
Or again, add some good fats. If you're eating a bowl of fruit, for example, add some coconut milk or add some full fat milk or some good quality cream if you're not intolerant to dairy.
mm-hmm.
So balance out those carbohydrates to prevent the big blood sugar crash that will usually come an hour later.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Now, obviously, for a long-term approach, we'd be looking to figure out somebody's primal pattern diet. So you can find all of that information in Paul's great book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can find yourself a CHEK practitioner and really find out how to figure out which proteins, fats, and carbohydrates and their ratios are going to work for you and as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
But for the purpose of this call, simple rule is try to always balance out a carbohydrate wherever you can with a protein and or a fat.
Mm-hmm.
That will completely and utterly change your life within about 3 to 4 weeks.
I was gonna. So do you when you explain this point to a client? Do you
Yeah.
get pushback? You say, "Oh, well, I can't have fat with sugar. That's like the ultimate one-two punch, right? I mean, that's nobody
Yeah.
does that."
Yeah, great question. Because obviously there's a big theory out there as well that, you know, if you start combining certain foods as well, it can cause foods to ferment.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got the theory out there that if you add starch, for example, with protein or sugars,
Mm-hmm.
then the protein will actually rot and ferment, creating digestive issues.
Yeah.
Yes, that can be the case. And obviously, if you're working with a practitioner, etc., they can go into far more detail into those kinds of things for you as an individual.
Yeah.
But leaving that aside, you know, when we're working with individuals or how I was myself,
Mm-hmm.
my diet, you know, had huge amounts of sugar and processed foods in 10 years ago, just balancing out those carbohydrates with a fat and a protein will give you so much gain for those first 4 weeks. You'll have the energy to go on to then later creating a great transition in your diet.
Yeah.
But it's all about baby steps.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really find that if we take on too many things and get too complicated, then we tend to give up completely.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, to answer your questions, the gains you will get will far outweigh any digestive problems, and then we can deal with that later.
Good. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Good.
Mhm.
Just to add on to that fact, even when it comes to primal pattern dieting, metabolic typing, etc., we're never advocating that someone should eat this way forever.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
everybody needs a framework for a 6 to 8 week period, and then obviously as you get healthier, you can help to figure out which individual foods work for you as an individual just via you, for example.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is a great starting point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, lovely.
It's as simple as that.
That is, and I imagine some of it is experimentation, right? I mean, you need to try and see, well, how is my energy feeling after I've eaten whatever, fruit with no, as you said, no fat. Well, how do I feel after that, and how do I feel when I add some cream to it?
Yeah, absolutely, James. And one of the simplest and the cheapest ways to assess your blood sugar is just to keep a really simple food log.
Mm-hmm.
There are apps to do that today on phones. You can keep a little notebook. It's far more effective than doing, lengthy, expensive testing. Just
Yeah.
keep a little note of how you feel, what you've
Mm-hmm.
eaten that day, and yeah, you'll pretty soon notice a really, really big change.
I'm really excited. I mean, I think this is something that just balancing your carbs with your fat and your protein, and trying it out. That makes a lot of sense, and something we can take away and try right away.
Absolutely. I'm all about really easy to do things that people can try and then go away, guys, try it and then come back for some more.
Yes, and I like the idea. A very good idea is the food log. How much detail, by the way, should somebody use when they're keeping a food journal? Do you need to, is just one or two words to say I feel sleepy, or I feel satiated? Is that enough? What? Yeah, how much do you encourage somebody to write in these?
Yeah, well, I mean, we actually in the clinic obviously have specific journals so people
Mm.
can actually tick down the sides how
Uh-huh.
they're actually feeling.
Mm.
But you can create that, really easily for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The things you're going to be looking out for are exactly as you said, whether you feel sleepy,
Mm-hmm.
how your energy levels are.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, do you feel, one of our questions is, do you feel like you could go for a walk or do a little bit of sport right now?
Mm-hmm.
How is the clarity of mind, foggy thinking, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and really scoring your energy levels out of 10 is also a super effective way to check how you're doing in a day. So scoring it within an hour
Mm-hmm.
after each meal. We
Mm-hmm.
find most clients come in, with 2 out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
10 being the best levels of energy. And within a 3 to 4 week period of just doing that really simple action point, most are up at 8 or 9, which is a really
Yeah.
incredible result in a 3 to 4 week period.
It is. That's pretty amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. I mean, you bring it back to what I think is almost always true. It's all about balance, right? And so this is a nice, simple way to balance and track, balance and track.
I love it. Absolutely, James. And you know
Mm.
what? Just to add to that point, we live in France, which is, food is a huge part of the culture, which is one of the reasons we're
Yes.
here. And,
Yeah.
in France, they've been doing this naturally through the ages,
Mm.
since the dawn of time.
Mhm.
When I talk to my French friends about this concept, I
Mm.
mean, they look at me as if I'm absolutely nuts. And it's like, well, of course. Why would you ever not eat something without the you
Yeah.
talk to French children, for example,
Mm.
and they have 3 to 4 course meals with a cheese board. That is their regular lunch,
Wow.
you
Wow.
know? So their meal is perfectly balanced with a green salad to start
Mhm.
with, some good protein and veggies,
Mm.
maybe a little bit of, and then cheese at the end.
Mm.
So they're constantly balancing the meal with
Yeah.
really high quality proteins and fats.
Wow. I'm gonna have to take a trip to France soon. I'm
I
getting
think you'll
hungry.
have to come and see
I
us.
would love to do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Well, great, Jenny. Thank you so much for doing this. This is wonderful. We're going to do another session here that will show you guys next month, and I know you're going to want to catch this one. It answers a. She's going to answer a very important question, and that question is it possible for babies and infants to sleep through the night from 12 weeks old? I know there's lots and lots of young parents wondering, that's the age old mystery that
Yeah.
seems like the answer is no, right? So,
Yes, it is. Don't worry, it's possible. I can tell you how. And I'm not the magic Wonder Woman mum. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Okay, well, great. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you all will join us again next month for this when we'll talk to Jenny again. So thanks, Jenny.
Thank you, James. That was great.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.